If you're in the mood for something warm, spicy, and so delicious, today's the day we're making classic Ginger Molasses Cookies. These are soft, chewy, and packed with that perfect balance of ginger, cinnamon, and molasses that make them irresistible.
There you go. Trying to break our oven?
No. As a busy mom, I love an easy and simple cookie, and this recipe is one that anyone can do. Stick around to the end for a recipe that you can save for later.
You'll need butter, dark molasses, 1 egg, brown sugar, all-purpose flour, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, ground ginger, and cloves. Step 1. Melt the butter and combine with molasses and brown sugar. Melt 3/4 cup of butter in a bowl and add a 1/3 cup of dark molasses and 1 cup of brown sugar packed well. Mix all of this together. Step 2. Add the egg and mix well.
I showed this in my last cookie video, but it's always helpful to have a room temperature egg. And a quick way to get it room temperature is to put it in some hot water and just let it sit while you're mixing up your other ingredients. This should bring it down from being so cold.
Mix in 1 egg and beat well. Originally, this recipe called for a mixer, but I think doing it by hand works just fine. Step 3. In a separate bowl, combine all the dry ingredients. To your bowl, add 2½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and ½ a teaspoon of ground cloves. Step 4. Add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Mix all of this together well and then slowly add it to your other bowl.
So a little tip here to get your cookies at that perfect gooey texture is to not put too much flour or too little flour. And so as you are dumping and pouring, you want to be careful not to dump too much right at the beginning. I don't even always use all of the flour mixture. So I'll show you as I do it the texture you're looking for, because if it's too thick, then they're gonna stay cakey and dry. And if there's not enough flour, then they get really thin and they'll spread. And so we're gonna try to get right in the middle for the texture of cookies we're looking for. So I think that this is pretty close. You can tell that it's starting to get thick. It's still very sticky, but it is starting to thicken up. I might add just another sprinkle of this. Maybe 2.
What's on?
I'm gonna just test and see, can I get it into a ball? It's gonna be very sticky, but you can still get it into a ball. I might add a little bit more flour here.
Step 5. Roll out tablespoon-sized cookies and place on a pan.
If you want your cookies to be super uniform, you could use a scoop like this, but honestly, just using your hands and rolling it into a ball works great too.
Step 6. Bake at 325 degrees for 9 to 11 minutes. Take note, this is a lower temperature than usual for other baked goods. I was experimenting a little bit today to find the sweet spot to get them gooey, and I think 9 minutes was perfect.
So I'm gonna check them. They could be ready, but they might need a few more minutes. I like my cookies really soft, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these out.
Trying to break our oven?
No, that helps them flatten and they turn out more gooey.
Some secret trick going on here.
Can't pick this up off the ground. I think that's good.
She says
if you like them not so gooey in the middle, you could put them in for 2 more minutes. But I think as they set up, they'll be perfect.
And of course, enjoy them with your family and a glass of milk.
So I actually did my second batch, only 9 minutes. And I feel like that is like the perfect gooey texture with
Even more gooey.
9 minutes. So I was experimenting a little bit today, and you can too. You can figure out which way you like to make it.
Each week, as a part of our homeschool, we like to have a poetry tea time, and these cookies were a perfect sweet treat to enjoy along with our tea. I think one of the best things about baking is being able to create memories with my family, both in the kitchen and around the table.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope these Ginger Molasses cookies make your holidays just a little bit sweeter. If you give this recipe a try, make sure to let me know how it turns out in the comments below. Pause here for the recipe. Happy baking, and I'll see you next time.
Dad, those cookies are so good. Dad can eat all the cookies.
I'm gonna eat all the cookies. Oh no. None for me?
No. Mom, I'm gonna eat all the cookies. And milk.